course it's done that.
Taylor's all his time.
Protect your bombs from being
When we go back to the old times, it's decided to come up. Yeah. Hey! Yep.
Yep.
Are we muted? Right.
Coolio. So it looks like the defenders actually won the second round, which I'm assuming was a return to basement. We lost our camera feed, as you would have lost the seeing as well, but the game was still going on, so at least we can celebrate that.
10 seconds.
And it looks like QT were able to put a round on the board. Can't complain.
Can we just look at the everyone's kills? I want to see who pulled it out. I think it was your SP. Yeah, it must have been your SP. Of course, we'll never know how that round went, other than the fact that, well, we see that QT going fine. Well, finally won a round.
And your SP got a triple kill.
Yeah, it seems to be the case.
Going huge.
Going huge indeed.
You sure you want to press that button?
Oh my god, it's what? Oh.
Quick kill from Shepherd fighting sharply through the hatch, I believe.
I don't expect anything less from him, because the last game as well, he was always finding these entry picks. He was always... See, I think he found a pick below a hatch on the last map as well. Of course he...
Yeah, it was on Cafe. He went underneath. Went underneath into the laundry room, was able to find someone through the hatch in Cocktail. But that's just an unfortunate way to lose a member, just not being careful with the sightlines that you yourself have opened up. Like they opened that hatch for a reason. They wanted to hold lower down, and he wasn't able to do so effectively. That's quick control of admin taken by the attackers. Not sure if they're aware of the Malusi hugging the wall right next to them, but oh, they finally droned her out. She's not shooting the drone. Does she think that they haven't? Maybe she's being baited into a false sense of security at this point, but we could see a double swing come out here from the Thatcher, but Azur's going to quickly shut down that Ash, which has been oh so effective.
And there we go, yep, the bait has came out. Your SP took the bait and got picked off for it.
That's an interesting swing.
Admin control has been taken. They can now start to push their way up. Of course, we have double still below. Waiting to flank, waiting to catch them off guard, maybe find a pick or two.
Has the Nitro in pocket as well, so let's not forget how effective those can be. Especially when members start to stack up like we're seeing, but an early smoke canister coming out to counter the smoke, to slow down that progression for the attackers, and we're seeing Celtic not quite aware of this angle that Double's holding on to him, but the concussion is going to come out, the Nitro Cell not connecting with the target. And that's going to be momentum still in the favour of the attackers. We see Rory sliding his way down here, going to get rid of that shield one way or another, the double peak coming in.
And there we go. Robbie's going to have to play a bit more careful now. Of course, he no longer has that shield to protect him. He's going to have to... He needs to use his smoke canisters effectively still, but it's going to be a bit harder.
Reading the flank and going to take him out, but Azur finding his second. That's the sledge falling to the UMP 45. Can he find a third? He needs to do something in this 2 versus 3. Only a couple seconds left on the clock, but he's going to be found by Chaotic. That concussion, that impact grenade coming in clutch. No more smoke canisters in pocket for the smoke as the plant goes down next to the reinforced wall. He finds the player on long. He walks out into the fire of Chaotic. He doesn't take a second. He has time. He can slow it down a little bit, but last he doesn't. He gets felled by the Zofia.
There we go. As soon as that shield got taken, as soon as it got rid of, it just seemed like it was just all falling in favour of the attackers. And of course, we saw Chaotic waiting for that Mozzie to flank as well, which eventually did come around. And even like just then, it was basically certified that they were winning that round.
I was just waiting to see. I was waiting to see that clutch there, but it was unfortunate they walked out during that reload. Couldn't quite leave it, but it happens. It's unfortunate as it is. It does happen, and we'll just have to move into the next round. They're going back to the top floor, so they might be able to replicate some of the more joyful moments of the round, while losing some members early on. You're maybe not having that swing from your SP, maybe not losing out sharply so early on that hatch, but from a 4 versus 5 from a very early time. That is what it's nice to see.
Yeah, we see Rory asking, I think he's saying, is the stream back up again? I think that's what he's supposed to be saying. Okay, yeah, so yeah. They are going for, I think this is exactly the same strategy. Yeah, it is, of course. They're going to be placing that castle barricade on that double door, most likely. And having the rotate onto that the desk. Instead of having the rotate between connectors, I mean, they may have that rotate as well. Which of course gives them even more leeway of where they can move. Let's see how they manage this. We see double playing in Visa at the moment. Of course, he's on that Legion. He's placed that green mine down. We're seeing if any drones are nearby. I mean, there was outside the double door, so they know he's somewhat in or around Visa, so he's gonna have to be a bit careful. As you see, Chevarou's drone, Ash's drone now, spotting him out. He hasn't seen it, however. So pre-fire could potentially come in and take him out.
Do like this approach that they're bringing out now, just trying to clear out that defender really well. But double with that Legion, you know, putting the goo mines down, going to try and do something to slow down the attack. And I think that's a nice adaptation. Put some pressure on that double door. Someone's staring straight at that drone going down these stairs into the basement. That was the Legion staring right back at it, and that was, you know, that must have made you jump. But we see him moving around now, just gonna, as with the attacks are starting to clear towards admin again, taking that control, sharply not falling as early on, instead finding himself a drone. It's going to be hugging into that northeast corner, sorry. Just trying to keep alive, sort out some time. He has two members of his team here to support him as the attackers go for those push. A wild nitro coming out, don't know where that's supposed to be going, but he will find Obese Rat, so he's sending him to the nitro cell spot, but you know, well played to find that opening pick for his team this time, and hopefully that can shift the way the round is going to play out. Sharply finding a second quick kill onto Chaotic on the window opposite him. But it looks like they already have, I believe that's Prior inside of admin with him. You're already going to find Yoris P, and that's going to be a quick man advantage coming back into play. Prior inside the building might even be able to catch out sharply if he's not careful where he looks. The ping's coming out now. Might see a vault onto the desk to guard the line of sight, but he's just going to lose out the opportunity as Sharply falls quickly back onto Soda.
Phobos is free now, and oh no. Chevreux turns into a worm and, well, just gets easily taken out, as well as Sharply, who takes down Prior. All on Rory in admin. 4 players to find. He has the diffuser, he has the smoke grenades and the AK-12 in his hand. Still so many players to find, and they're all just converging on him. He finds one and almost before he transfers on to the second, but no. Still has 45 seconds. He has the time. He has time to play with. It's on his side at the moment. Of course, it will dwindle down soon, and he is going to have to go for the push. Still 3 to find, and he, well, doesn't really have...
He can... I think he can use the charge there to get rid of that Banshee if he has a spare one that he's willing to use up. But he's instead going to go for the rotate, just try and push through the different doorway instead. Smoke Cannon's going to push him off. He's going to fall back into admin, just play out the time. Just wait it out. Chat to his team real quick. Be my assumption. But it actually looks like he's going for a last minute push, which is interesting. Loop back around and go from the other side. With the Banshee in the way, smoke canisters at the ready. There's enough crossfires there where you're not going to get anything done, but it's a nice try nonetheless to try and pull something out of what would have otherwise been a very much lost round.
I mean, I said QT Gang probably wouldn't fare too well on this map, but maybe I'm getting proven wrong, as it is an even scoreline. They may be able to pull this in their favour.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting tale of they'll lose a site, but they know they see the changes that they need to make to come back and win it out instead, and they've done that so far, at least from what we can see, making a strong change in play style on that last round. We don't actually know what happened in that fated lost round, but it clearly seemed they turned something around, and maybe we'll keep seeing that. We could end up with a 4-3 half to ParkEs if they can't start to win these rounds without making those adaptations themselves. It could be here that they just win this round out. They saw the mistake they made before, and they're ready to replicate their successes.
Right.
I believe they've actually brought the Bandit instead of the Cade, so maybe that's more comfortable for Double to play off of. But either way, I think the operators are very expendable, very swappable. Cade obviously has a lot more potential in stopping the the hard breach gadgets from going off. If you're going to go for something like an active trick with the Thatcher, there are lots of walls. You know, Ace can just throw them all down across the whole wall. It's be quite difficult for a bandit to deal with that himself. But you know, if you're more comfortable on the operator, when that wall gets open, I say when that wall because that wall always gets opened up if the attackers actually want it to, which they should. You know, it's always going to get opened up, so having the preferred weapon, the same nitro cell is still available. I think that's a fine choice here.
I mean, obviously bandit tricking is much easier than cage tricking, but it's the fact that Ace is in play, and then it's not a thermite. Like, they're not forcing the thermite pick because the Ace is in play. So no matter what, I think the wall will eventually get opened either way, depending on who, no matter who you pick.
Yeah, I think bandits' potential to trick a thermite is a lot higher, but when you have all the walls, like an Ace can just throw one on the right, one on the middle, one on the left. You're not going to be able to stop that, or even just one on the middle, one on the right-hand side. You're not going to stop that as a lone bandit. But Sharply has fallen in the meantime on the top floor, and that's the roam being punished again with the drones being put in place. The players on rappel to close down the angles of which you'd use to fall back comfortably, and that's the Go being spotted out, dropping into main lobby. No one actually had to punish this drop, which would have been very lovely to see. You know, you have a player on the main door who's watching that hatch, and I think that would be another free kill. But you know, you can't take them all. You see the main door getting opened up now, forcing USP back into piano.
It does seem like he's going to be able to get back into sight if he chooses to, because of course there's no one on that garage door either. So yeah, there we go. He's managed to get back in sight.
Yeah, what I said about them holding back the rotates effectively from the rappel, just, you know, they heard me say it, and they just decided, no, we're not gonna keep this up. We're gonna let him get back to sight, give them a chance in the round, and if they'd been a bit more on the ball, had they had these angles prepared, they could have really just closed down the round here and just given themselves a lot of time to deal with only the last 3 players. A nitro cell coming out, misses completely, although it looked like it was gonna land quite nicely.
There we go. Bandit trick doesn't matter because of course you can't bandit trick if they have players go above and deny his location. So the wall gets easily opened and a pick comes in. Prior takes down Azure. That's your smoke gone. Your smoke wave is gone. And well, the attackers look in so much more of a favourable position over the defenders now, and another C4 gets wasted. And I think that's the last one they have.
Yeah, that is the last one they have. The bandits throw his out onto the piano, but that's going to be Rob finding a very quick kill with the MP5 SD through the floor onto the sledge, using the holes against him. But Chaotic quickly going to retrade that one. The angles above still being used in favor of the attackers, and that's going to close down that rotation outside of security into kitchen, as we're going to see the plant potentially coming down. But Bandit is snuck all the way around.
Oh no!
Melee kill, but he backed up. He didn't watch the ace as he came in. Gonna pop that Goyo shield and start a plant down. He does have the Zofia watching the angle from the player in security. They know where the last defender is now, and they have players on either side of him ready to punish when he tries to move out. And there we go. There's the Ash closing him down as he tries to rotate outside of the door. Round number 5, favor the attackers. Nothing much to the surprise there.
Yeah, I mean, Control is one of those maps. It's basically like, it's almost exactly like Coastline. I mean, it can go either way, but quite a lot of the time it actually is preferred for the attackers. As we are seeing here, that seems like to be coming into fruition. And now they're gonna try to go to that basement, try to go to garage once again. They just need to, the Romans need to stay up a bit longer. And I mean, obviously we did see USP get back to site, but that didn't matter in the end.
Yeah, I think this is very interesting. You're seeing like Sharply falling, like getting taken out very early on in quite a lot of rounds. He's kind of like the liability of the team at the moment. It's definitely harsh to pin it on one player. I don't think it's the case of, oh, Sharply's bad. You know, like he's obviously deserves to be in this team, and he deserves a spot. He's shown what he can do when he has the opportunity to thrive. The problem is he's not thriving. He's being caught out very early on, and he's taking a lot of the brunt of the attack, and it's just opening up the map too much. It's opening these rounds up in favor of ParkEs Academy, and you can see the rounds where he doesn't play early, the rounds where they play a little bit slower, they take things, you know, they don't force anything, they make the attackers come onto them. That's the rounds they're winning, that's the rounds that they're showing ParkEs, and like they're going to give them a run for their money, and they need to keep replicating that if they're going to go forward. Let's see here if that changes, but the problem is when you're getting caught out on the top floor so alone, like Sharply has been, especially in the last round, for example, you could see that very clearly. He was caught out, he was in a bad position, he was punished for it.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, because he was sat in that corner of admin, wasn't he? And then I don't even think he had any ADSs to keep him safe either. So he was a sitting duck waiting to die.
Yeah, exactly. And you gain nothing by doing this. Like you stall what it takes them 30 seconds to kill you, and then they go, okay, free kill. Now we'll move on to site. Like we'll clear the Goyo out, and we have map control within the first minute of the game, and that's huge because you actually see Double is joining them on the roam. So it's actually a 3-person roam, only 2 in basement. If the attacker are aware, they could just go for a rush play. I mean, I'd quite like to see a rush play come out, but
yeah, I really would like to see one of those. I don't think we've really we haven't seen rushes too often. I want to see Amaru get played, especially on this map.
I think Amaru's interesting. She has her uses.
I just think she's a fun operator, and I want to see her because, I mean, obviously the tournament's starting to get more serious now that we're getting in the final stages of who qualifies for the Advanced League or Professional League, or obviously the loser of this one will only qualify for Open League, which none of these teams want. But so it is starting to get more serious. So I don't think teams will go for these plays. But oh wow, a trade comes in as Rory and Azure take each other out. Now I do think the attackers do have a more favourable position now because of course smoke with those toxic babes are gone, but you still have echo drones, and well, the only smoke grenades the attackers have are gone. So I may retract that statement.
Yeah, and this is now a lot more interesting. Neither team, the attackers don't really have the smokes to use to deny the lines of sight, and there are some long lines of sight on this site, and you have a couple 1.5s on the side of the defense, which can be used to great effect. It also means that the nitro cells are going to be able to fly a little bit more accurately, and the yokai is going to be able to give that intel a lot clearer. That's a lot of damage coming out onto Prior from the top floor. They haven't cleared that roam this round, and that's the difference. They haven't cleared it out, but Chaotic is still going to find a quick kill onto Rob, and that's your echo off the board. So maybe this is starting to line up very much in favor of the attackers. You also have Chaotic holding at the bottom of yellow.
There we go.
So that's going to deny your roamers the entrance back to site. But Obese Rat is setting the plant down. The nitro cell coming out. He's going to try and stick it.
But no, last second it gets denied. And well, it's all in favour, even still, in ParkEs Academy, and they're just pulling out these rounds. They didn't roam clear, but it didn't matter because they're winning these gunfights. And they're just finding the rounds.
Chaotic holding there at yellow. I think he found, what, a double kill there, as he was just holding the roamers off out of bay, you know, just keeping them back. Well, it was like Rory has 100% cost across the first 6 rounds, which is very impressive. Which is being very active in the game. So if Prior on the 2 for 0 on opening kills, finding those kills on top floor, he's finding them a lot of the time kind of by himself, just picking them up.
And I like to see for once, there's not a single team kill. We usually see at least like 2 or 3 team kills per series, but we've seen none. And I am so happy for that. Oh. I don't remember what game it was, but I think we actually saw 3 team kills in one game. A single map.
Oh dear. That's just unfortunate. That's just poor.
Yeah, well I mean, I'm not sure, but I don't think that team's in the tournament anymore, which, well, it shows the teams that don't team kill, well, they progress.
I mean, you team kill, that's a lost round and lost mental, so... Although if you win a round in which you team kill, that's kind of a massive mental boost. You're like, oh, we don't even need it.
Right, so yeah, they're going to be faring the top floor again, of course. I'm not sure if they've actually been able to successfully defend it yet. I don't think they have.
Yeah, they have. They won 1 defense up here. They won on round number 4.
Oh. I'm not going to lie, I don't remember that round.
10 seconds left before
it was Rory in the 1 versus 4.
Oh yeah, I remember it now.
But it'd be interesting to see if they can see what they did so well that round was that they had the support for it was Sharpley on the Jaeger at the time, but now he's onto the Legion, so that could be a change. But they had support for him as he hid on top of admin. They had the support so that when he started to get pushed out, they were able to refrag, and he was able to put some pressure onto the attackers for a change, rather than being pressured out. We're not seeing that same sort of hold towards admin. It's USP by himself this time.
Yeah, I mean, well, and I know, like, you were discrediting them for all the things that they were doing last round, but, well, that didn't matter anyway, because they didn't even go for the roam clear. So, yeah, so it does seem like, well, ParkEs Academy are doing so well at adapting to the changes that QT Gang are making.
Yeah, and they're not even going for the admin side. They see how they lost it last time. They're going to change things up, go for a more yellow take. It's a castle with the UMP here. They have people on the correct windows to hold him off. You can see the sledge running a long angle into him there. You can see the tracers coming in. That's the angle they're holding. Like, that's a hard one to contest. So they're just double checking his run out, but they have players where they need to be. They now need to start just pushing players out. The Jaeger's fallen back to the bottom of yellow. He knows there's a player on that window. I don't know if he knows the Claymore's just there yet. Here's the drone, so he's going to try and hide from it, but they might have spotted his feet, and it will spot him now. The yellow ping you can hear there. And Azure finding Chaotic. That's the Zofia off the board, and the first member going down, and that's going to be in favor of QTG Gang. They're still going to try and re-peek that same window prior, trying to take the better fight this time. Going back onto that rappel, trying to hold that angle onto Azure, but you hear the spray coming out already, expecting the run up from the Jaeger, but the Jaeger's just having a vibe.
The consulate radio. I mean, it is quite a vibe, I'm not gonna lie. And I was gonna commemorate ParkEs for just how well they are working together. Like, they're trying to get these cross angles, but it's not really working well this round anyway, because Azure obviously just took down Chaotic, who has been, other than Shebaru, he has been the most impactful player, of course, being that entry fragger, and he's been taken down. So I am expecting QT Gang to potentially pull this one out.
I mean, a minute left. Not really a ton has been done. There isn't a ton you usually have to do on this site, which is like the one kind of caveat to what I'm saying here. But it does look like there's not a lot. But as I say that, they're gonna go for a quick push up yellow. But the swing from Azure is actually gonna slay Prior. Rory finding double underneath him, but he's left at a ridiculously low HP. The smoke is still alive, and any tick from those canisters will kill him. So he has to be very careful with how he goes for this push now. With the diffuser in hand, nearly lost that, so coming to join Shebaru on this balcony, but 15 seconds on the clock. The smoke canisters should start to fly out at this point. There we go. That's actually a smoke from the ace, but Obese trying to come off that rappel is going to be slain by the SMG-11 in the hands of Rob. So, you know,
and there we go.
That's going to close that one out.
Chaotic was the first to get picked up, and I said that QT Gang were most likely going to win that round, and well, there it is. They managed to pull out that round, and I think, yeah, that is the end of the first half. Of course, ParkEs still in the advantage. Now they move on to the defense, but it is a lot closer this time around, other than the last map, which of course ended at a 5-2 split.
I mean, that round was just it. After that kill came in onto Chaotic, it just seemed like they lost all their tempo, they lost all their pace, they just slowed down, they did nothing until they tried to push up through the yellow, but they didn't really have the correct support. It felt more like a last-ditch attempt to try and salvage the round, which I don't think they needed to panic at that point. They still have a lot of angles they can play from the windows and try and force out the attackers, but I understand, like, you know, it's a difficult one when you're down in members, you don't have any map control at this point, you feel a little bit nervous to try something, and you feel like just going for broke is the best option. Had that worked out, I think they could have salvaged that round. It's just unfortunate. Azure played a lovely swing, found the right angle, he found the right spot, and he really closed out that round, secured the victory.
Yeah, also I don't really think the attackers played their time as well as they could have on that last round, of course.
Definitely.
By the time the ace was rotating, there was about 25 seconds left. The round was closed out by then. Of course, it may be different now that they're on the defense instead. I mean, they are still winning. There's still a map up as well as a round up, but
10 seconds to go.
it just seems like little mistakes in timing,
5
just
seconds to go.
not being exploited, not being fixed either. So it's just
Attackers are heading out
they
to
are
the
really gonna have
bomb.
to change some things up if we want to continue to win out this map.
Drone hacks, close MOS files. I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
I think his drone got taken out like by one of the defenders in a single bullet, so he thinks they've got drone hacks.
Ah, I see. Well, we're seeing a slightly different setup here from the defensive side on ParkEs Academy. Still running this kind of K trick, but the Zofia quickly going to eliminate that possibility by taking out the angle that he can play off of, holding it safe from him. Looks like he's gonna he's so tempted to greed for it and try and grab one of his charges, but he doesn't want to risk his life for it, and I think that's the right call to make here. Challenging the window still though. There's going to be Rob getting injured by I'm not sure what.
Was it a run out from upstairs maybe? Yeah, there.
Oh, it was run out from Chaotic on the top floor. So they're holding that while they pick him back up. Oh no, Ash
Oh
has
no.
been found out.
Oh no. Oh, he was
The spray just
millimeters
off.
off his head.
And that's gonna give Ash a nice warning that they're still playing upstairs. The roam clear hasn't quite come in, but the drone is sat right in the entrance, and they're not quite aware that it's none of theirs. But the Jackal scan now coming on Mozzie. That's gonna be huge at slowing him down, catching him out. Obviously, he's gonna be moving around upstairs, and they haven't really put anyone in a direct contention with him yet. Shebaru are also up here to protect him, and they're aware of the Zofia on the balcony.
I mean, even though like he hasn't been able to find any picks yet, the amount of time he's wasted, 2/3 of the round pretty much have been wasted by him just sitting up here. He finally is going to get drawn down and maybe taken out, but no, a bit too late.
How is he allowed to run past the Zofia's angle? Zofia has a perfect angle onto that door. She can hold it. They've thrown him out on Jackal, flicking onto his head there, but that was very fortunate not to lose his life there. It was, if anything, a bit of a misplay from... Well, not a misplay, but an unfortunate... I think a misplay... the one I'm looking for is, like, it was unfortunate that Chaotic wasn't able to close out, but as we see that Prior pushing into sight, preventing the push into sight, sorry to say, finding double, that hard breacher, now out of play, the diffuser down in garage as well, so that's comfortably in the hands of the defenders. A goo mine sitting on it, sharply walking into another goo mine as he tries to come down the other stairs, trying to find an angle onto the defenders, but he can't quite do so. A couple of traces will give away the position of the smoke in the back of sight, and he will be punished for that by the Zofia. The angle above now catching out the Legion, forcing him to move, but Sharply will find a quick kill, as does Azur, closing out the round in comfortable fashion.
Alright, so 4-4. And during that last round, I was gonna say how much Rory needs to stay alive, because if you paid attention to the attacker's health, I think like 2 or 3 of them were on around 10 HP. But then of course he got taken out from the yellow stairs. Nothing that he really could have done about that one. And then, well, it just all fell in favour of QT Gang on the attack. I mean, they are gonna try garage once again. Maybe try to change it up this time. I really did think that ParkEs were gonna win that last round just because of how much time they wasted, but QT Gang were winning their gunfights on that last round and pulled out the round.
Yeah, they managed to find a way into the site, and then once they were in, there was nothing you could really do to stop them. But we will see them repeat the same site. Hopefully they can replicate some of the success that it was QT Gang able to do by, you know, coming back and attempting to change up their defenses and winning them out. Just watching Mozzie reinforcing, that's nice.
Online. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds left before insertion. Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
Looks like a Beast Rat going for the same sort of approach, trying to keep that Cade trick going, but I'm sure he'll be denied by Sharply the Zofia quite promptly. It feels like this map is just much better suited to QT. They're able to try and play off some of these like more clutch rounds, try and play a little bit more freestyle, and try and close out some of this. Try and what's the word I'm looking for? Capitalize off of the chaos. But it's gonna be Shebaru sneaking up on this Ash and the Repel. Isn't quite aware of the Vigil's presence. The drone. His gadget obviously going to deny him from any drones, and he's sitting right on top of one, but they won't be too aware of that. Falling back now towards Visa as they approach into admin, starts to come through, trying to clear through the top floor. They have the Jackal, they'll scan his feet and they'll find him out pretty quickly, so he does have to be a little bit careful that he's not in anyone's immediate sightline. And there we go, the scan coming in as he starts to make his way up the spiral staircase.
I mean, obviously, Chaotix is nearby to support him if need be when push comes to shove, but he's going to fall back, of course, because he has been Jackal tracked. I'm not sure if he's getting tracked again, he may be, but I don't think he is, but there we go. Shebaru finds the pick onto Azure. Your Ash is now gone, but the refrag does come in by URSP. Even still, though, Chaotix is still playing that top 4, and I don't think he's been droned out, so he can just sit here and maybe find another pick onto Sharply.
pretty sure he can hear the Zofia moving right next to him, but the scan comes in, as does his swing, and he'll be able to get some sort of advantage out of that now. And going to fall back into bathroom, just try and continue this time stall that he's been able to, make his own. He's doing it so well throughout these first couple of rounds, and Double's going to find a beast right at the Cade falling, and that's going to be the man count at an even as he's wormed his way right up onto White Van, right next to this rotation. He might even find the head of smoke. That looked like a headshot in my books, but he's going to be so upset that that doesn't kill. And as he's missing, Chaotic is finding yet another kill on Rob. The IQ going down now upstairs. The plant being baited out. The Legion he saw temporarily, but didn't quite realize it. And the swing coming in, Chaotic finding a triple kill on the round, closing it out by finding that Jackal, who was unable to slow him down at all. They had a bit of a disjointed attack. They weren't able to close out these roamers. They did a good job at refragging onto the Vigil, but they just weren't droning themselves through clearly enough. They didn't find Chaotic till it was too late, where he swung onto the Zofia and was able to escape pretty quickly. And then they just never really challenged him at all. They fed into him one by one, the IQ and then the Jackal afterwards. Whereas if they'd just gone with a little bit more methodical, they still had enough time. They are running out a little bit, but, you've seen how these rounds are coming down to the last 20, 30 seconds. And they're still being won by both sides on different occasions, so you know that you can win it at that time frame. You just need to clear out that Roma first. The Lion being brought, though.
I think the QT Gang's attacks, they're a bit strange. They're always disjointed from each other. Of course, we saw that Ace on his own in sight, whereas his teammates were above. He was all alone in the site. Of course, he managed to find one pick, but it just really didn't go in his favor. Because he had no one there to support him, and he was just easily picked off by that Legion on the yellow stairs because he had no one supporting him, no one watching the angles that he couldn't watch.
Yeah.
They are going to have to change some things up.
I quite like this lineup coming out from the attack. I mean, you're seeing the Montaigne, which is an operator near and dear to my heart. Although he's not in the greatest of spots right now, still, can be used very effectively if done correctly and with the correct, with good teamwork. The Lion, again, an operator that I think is really fun to play, personally. I think he's really strong at the moment. He offers a lot of utility to a team that is now, you have that space, you can take it up, and it's very powerful at helping you clear these roamers out, especially in combination with the Jackal and the Montaigne. Like, if you're getting pushed out in this situation, that Lion scan goes off, you're doomed. You're going to be caught out by an attacker eventually. The Twitch, operator recently buffed, given the breaching charges, and I know some people very much, removed the breaching charges in favor of flashbangs. I know some people really like having breaching charges on Ace, on the Twitch. Why did I say Ace? But drone getting quickly eliminated by the Vigil as they start to push towards admin yet again. The scan coming out, but Vigil is immune to it. And do you know what else he's immune to? Dying to Lions. He's going to kill the Lion on the window. Hide his presence once again. That's a kill from Chaotic coming out, finding sharply with that Nitrocell. The Zofia being eliminated from that balcony, blown off of the rappel. Her corpse flung across as well. So, that's more to add. I think Jackal's finally starting to scan up on this Vigil, but he's just going to fall back, play his time, play his life safely. It looks like they've even managed to catch one of the Twitch drones with the Mozzie.
And I know, like, you were surprised by this interesting lineup that they're bringing, but interesting lineups aren't going to win you the round, as we're seeing here, as another pick comes out. Shebaru takes down USP. It's all on that Monty and that Twitch, the two Frenchies. Oh, but Double does find the pick onto Shebaru and starting to tell into admin now. They can start to stake their claim, but Double almost gets taken out, and still 2 versus 4. They still have time, but so many defenders there to get the cross angles needed and potentially take them out.
2 begets are better than 1, and that is a well-known fact. But I don't know if they're going to be good enough to stop this defense. I mean, they're in such a dominant position. Still a minute 10 on the round, so they can do something. But Double isn't playing off of his Montaigne as closely as you would probably need to be able to capitalize and find some of these picks. But it looks like he's going to be rotating towards Spiral Staircase. There is a player at the top who's actually just waiting for him, and that's going to be Chaotic. Finding that last kill. Now they're going to storm the Montaigne.
Yeah, this round is most definitely over. He's going to have to work a miracle, but no miracle is coming today. Obese Rat gets that final pick, and ParkEs Academy win out yet another round. Quite close now, I think, anyway. Yeah, I think they're quite close from closing this series out.
Yeah, they need 2 more rounds to close this one out on defense, and the defenses have looked pretty decent. They are going to have to go to the split or lobby, and it looks like they're going to choose to go towards lobby, which isn't a problem. I want to see some split, but that's all right.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. In this situation, I would most definitely choose Archives and Tellers over this one.
I personally like this site the most out of any on this map.
Oh.
Personal opinion, bit of a hot take. I just think personally, I'm not a fan of front office console.
Yeah.
I don't like that top floor site, but
I like Archives and Tellers because I think we've lost it once and won it like 4 times in scrims. Because if you just play a pulse and you just have like 4 C4s, well, you can't lose unless they have to push you.
Attackers need to locate
Yeah,
and defuse as many bombs
you
as
can't try and go for a plant on that site. You have to push downstairs, try and get that downstairs presence. And a lot of teams don't know how to attack it correctly, and so you'll win because of that. More or less. Not so you only win because the attacker's incompetence, but that plays a big part in why you can often win out on that site.
Right.
Seeing the upstairs presence coming out here.
Yeah, more likely than not, they will have the vertical pulse. They will just be trying to keep control of this floor. And I mean, a lot of the time, when you do see this site get played, you quite often see a castle, but that's not the case this time round. You're gonna have the Wamai, of course, which I think that they're probably anticipating an admin take. Of course, you do have a double drone set up in admin, so that does seem like the most likely circumstance.
are moving to defuse a bomb.
So they are preparing for that.
Really
Oh, and he does find the pick onto your SP. Already, your Jackal's gone. Your roam clearing is going to be much more difficult. Not for the fact that you've lost Jackal, but also the fact that you've lost one of your crucial guns.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is, this is the sign that ParkEs Academy are really starting to feel themselves. They're really starting to get into it, and they're showing that they're ready to tango. They're ready to take these fights. They're ready to take early advantages. Maybe you lose on that. Maybe you lose out. And that can put you in a difficult position to win this round. Oh, but you know what? They don't really care. They don't seem to mind. They're going to take it. And he knows where the player is on the rappel, but he can't close it out sharply, pulling the man count back into even Stevens. And that's going to be crucial for their team to win the round. But a run out from the Vigil, poorly timed as both members have just come in from the rappel swing. He's now in a position where he's been spotted by the Montaigne, can't really challenge from this hatch, and might even get peeked onto himself if he's not too careful. They're going to know he's rotating towards Spiral Staircase. But he's actually going to loop back through.
There we go, one of the breaching rounds gets caught, and so does a second, and that's 2 out of 3 gone. As the One-Man Magnets catch them both, and a pick comes in for priority, takes down double. They're going to have to try and push up this hallway now through the long desk. I don't know if the player knows he's there. He does, and he gets picked off. 2 versus 4. ParkEs in the advantage as per usual. It's all up to the Monty, but this time it's the Zafir and not the Twitch.
They still have 2 defenders. I don't think so. They still have 2 defenders upstairs as well. That's a wonderful nitro toss, but I think it's going to be taken out. The smoke from below is going to find him. The Zafir quickly picks up a refrag on Chebaru, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Azure in the 1 versus 3. Still has full HP, but so do 2 of the defenders. Obi's right, the only member still alive to have taken some damage from prior engagements.
Yeah, I mean, I could say about timing, but timing doesn't matter when you've got Obese Rat holding that angle all the way. I think his own teammate opened that up for him as well, and well, it just got used fully to the advantage. And now ParkEs Academy, I think they're now just a single round away from closing out the series at a 2-0 victory.
Indeed, they are. I mean, that's just they lost out on the early advantages, and then they swung fairly carelessly. When you have a Montaigne, you don't need to be face checking some of these spots, but they chose to either way. Looks like they're actually going to be bringing the Thermite now. The first time we've seen the Thermite over the Ace, but the Fuse is going to be coming back. So we're interested to see if they can get a little bit more usage out of that, a bit more mileage. They're going to be in the basement, so you can use that to get rid of the cage. You can get rid of that to remove certain utility from the uncomfortable positions, but actually a castle coming out, which I think is a very interesting choice.
I was expecting maybe a bandit to get 6 picked on 2, because of course Thermite. It's Thermite and not Ace, like I was talking about earlier. It's much easier to bandit trick a Thermite charge than it is to cage trick a Thermite charge.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that they've gone for the castle. They haven't been using it on this bottom site as of yet. So how they intend to use this to slow down the attackers, I believe they could do very effectively. I mean, we've already seen how powerful their roam can come in. Chaotic taking a little bit of damage from a self-inflicted impact hole, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe a stray shotgun bullet, but still alive and No, that's enough HP to take out a couple players. We've seen him do it on less HP before, so why doubt him now?
5
Yeah,
seconds
so-
to go.
I'm not sure what type of hold they're going for. They haven't reinforced that circle desk hatch just yet.
Attackers
I think they are going for an extended room upstairs, using some of those reinforcements as we're seeing now. And I want to see.
It'd be nice to see where Prowl's put his castle barricades. It looks like they are in the basement, maybe watching their flank. He's put one down, yep, so he's putting them in Sparrows, and it looks like Archives has been castled off as well, so just completely closing off the back of that site. Trying to force them down the prison, but that's going to be caught out. Vigil trying to spawn peek, not going as well as it has previously. The impact, gonna get that wall open, but the Cade charge is gonna come offline maybe? Oh no, it was caught by that EMP. Thought for a moment it might not have been captured, but it has been. Pro playing on radio, just trying to find an angle on someone who's maybe not quite so careful as they approach that corner.
Claymore gets placed now. Of course, that will deny any run out coming out from that garage door, but I don't think it's going to be very likely to see one come in. Chaotic is doing what he has done this entire game, just playing on that top floor, just waiting, biding his time until he can find a pick, and he may be able to find one soon as the Sophia pushes in. There he goes. Sharply gets injured and taken out by Chaotic, who has done so much on this room, on these defensive rounds. He'll continue to do so.
Yeah, and that's really been huge, and it's put them back at that 4-4 man count. No longer the advantage in favour of QT Gang, and when you're on match point, you start to pull back the kills when you lose them down, and now Chaotic going to find another one, nearly finds a third, but Double will eventually shut him down. The first of 4 cluster charges coming out now. We're going to see a bombardment coming down, and this will be able to set up the attackers to go in for a plant at this point. It's going to be very hard for them to be denied.
There we go.
But there's going to be Double falling, getting injured by Prior. Not sure if he's quite aware of the damage he's inflicted onto that fuse. Maybe he just didn't want to risk going for the kill, but that's put them in a very uncomfortable position where they have to try and force through this main breach if they're going to want to get anything done.
Yeah, I mean, there's 50 seconds left, but they are in the disadvantage, and it is match point. So if they lose this round, they lose the series, get eliminated. They have to pick up their teammate, potentially. It seems like they are going to try and do so. And there we go, the revive's coming in now. They have 35 seconds and even man count once again, and they're going to have to go for the push very soon. It seems like they are about to.
He's going back to dropping those cluster charges through the floor, but it's going to be Prior losing out on that fight to Azure. 3 versus 2 now. They have a little bit of time to set themselves up for a plant. The last gas canister, I believe, coming out, but that's going to actually kill the planter as he goes for it. Thermite forced through the breach, running up behind White Van. Here's the plant going down on the other side of it, but he has to be careful of the fuse. He just misses coming down the other stairs, and the attackers are going to clutch that round out, and that is huge.
Well, the saying in this game, at least for now anyway, I mean, of course, ParkEs Academy still on match point, but they are starting to now slowly bring it back, and maybe, if they try hard enough, we can go to overtime.
That was a huge round for them to win. That comeback, picking up the fuse, that was so unfortunate that Pryzor didn't realise he had injured him, and he's going to be kicking himself later when he sees this back again. But that's unfortunate. It happens. You know, these guys are playing with their points off. For anyone who isn't aware, I'm sure most of you are, but just thought I'd let that be known. We're going to have to see if they can pull together. They have 2 more rounds, one of which they need to win, to prevent the overtime, to push themselves forward into victory, push themselves up into open, push themselves one step closer to reaching Open League and push QT Gang down. In QT Gang, the complete opposite is true. They have to start winning rounds, putting them back on the board, push themselves to overtime.
So, I'm surprised. Double is playing Finker. Possibly one of the least, if not the least played operator in the league anyway. I mean, obviously there's Nook as well, who we never see get played. There's Warden and Kavira, but Finker, a very strange operator to be bringing out, especially when ParkEs Academy have been playing Smoke, which of course, if you have an adrenaline surge active from Finker and you breathe in the smoke canisters, then you'll die twice as fast, which isn't really looking too great.
10 seconds to go.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is an interesting operator selection here, but We have seen QT Gang going for quite a couple unique operators. We saw them bring the Fuse a couple times now. They've brought out the Twitch. They brought out the IQ, the Gridlock. You know, they've been doing a lot of fairly interesting picks that, you know, haven't always worked out for them. Lion, let's not forget Lion. It'll be interesting to see if they're finally able to make one of these interesting picks work. Get the best use out of that Finker charge. The adrenal boost. So they're going for that admin control once again, trying to set themselves up in a nice position to gain that top floor control, get themselves a foothold on this map, and try and push towards it. It's interesting that they've finally started to reinforce that single wall in admin, but the Vigil scanner is going to start denying these drones the critical information that they need. The Twitch drone driving in very aggressively and actually landing on top of the Vigil. They're finally able to spot him now that his scanner timer is over. He's fallen back into Printer, trying to just stay safe from these window angles that they're setting up on both the south and east side of the map.
They're just wasting. This Vigil's wasting so much time. And of course, he isn't taking out the drones, which is a mistake. But there we go. One finally gets taken out, but so much time being wasted. Sharpie finds one, but the refrag instantly comes in by Shebaru. 4 versus 4. I mean, not much of the round's gone, but 2 of the operators already gone. Sharply, especially losing your Zofia, losing your all the impact that she can bring. Of course, getting rid of the shields, especially that Rory can bring, like we see there, as well as the Banshees. It's not good to lose an operator like that. I mean, of course, Azure can disable it, but that's not as impactful as Sharply's impact grenades would have been.
Yeah, you want to get rid of it for the long term, and it's going to be Obese Rat taken out for the long term, as that's QT finding that kill with the spear. Prior just trying to hold down the yellow stairs. Shebaru in position on Spiral. They have their angles covered between the last 3 remaining players. It's just going to be a case of capitalizing. Rory is going to capitalize on USP overextending, and the Twitch is on the same door as him. Could be meeting a similar fate. Just going to try and drone out the site a little bit more, gather that information before making a push. 50 seconds on the clock now. That was a poor spray, but a nice flick. A poor pre-fire, but a nice flick, sorry, I should say. The Habana pellets being taken out by Shebaru on top of the spiral staircase. They're not quite aware, and Habana might go for a wild swing here if she's not too careful. Expecting to push down long, might be able to catch the next set of pellets, but that's the plant going down. He's going to hear it. He nearly sees the head. I think he knows what he saw, and he capitalizes on it. Twitch swinging out is going to very quickly find the refrag, and Shebaru in a 1 versus 2 here. Can he clutch it out, put his team in that winning position?
Of course, he needs 7 seconds to defuse, but he still has 2 players to find. Of course, it's going to be quite a tall task to do. He doesn't even manage to find at the first, and well, 1 round away from going to overtime. They are starting to bring it back. They just need to keep the momentum going.
I mean, that's fascinating how they're not quite able to put another round up since hitting match point. They just seem to be, I don't want to say they're choking, but they're just struggling to find the final pin that they need to close this one out. They can't quite find the same openings they were previously, whether it's maybe it's nervous, but I don't think it is nerves coming from them. I think it's more just that QT is starting to finally think a bit more logically, slow down a little bit, and starting to put some really nice plays out there. We've seen a massive step up in their performance in these last 2 rounds.
And now, well, Parkinson's Academy going to be going to lobby. I mean, we've seen it get played, I think, once, maybe twice. And I just want to see, because obviously on previous rounds we have seen Chaotic be so impressive when he's on the Mozzie, but of course he has been on the Malusi the past few rounds. He's not been as impactful, so I want to see if he can somehow pull together what he had previously and just hold above the site, hold upstairs, and just maybe finally give them the final nail in the coffin to close this one out.
Yeah, I think that's true. They just need to. We need to see that magic that we're seeing. Chaotic go for them, you know, picking up a couple kills. Shebaru on that roam, you know, the combo of those 2 players has been phenomenal through the series, both on this map and the last. And we need to see something happen. These rounds are coming so close, and there isn't a lot to, you know, disparage between these 2 teams. But one of them has to take it here. And if, you know, if Parks and Z-Sport want to take the easy way out, they need to find a way to push this round to a victory.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised to see Chaotic play the top floor, as we have seen every single round on defense basically at this point. And it does seem the attackers are going to be going for the admin take. I mean, at least this time round, no spawn peak came out and you didn't lose your Jackal. So, I mean, he may be able to get used. But we'll just have to wait and see. Of course, you do have Shebaru. Oh, maybe not. No, you don't have Shebaru, as Sharply just takes him out.
Timing?
Timing.
Timing much? You jinxed him.
Oh, I apologize.
But this is where we're seeing the Zofia lining up, we're seeing Celtic getting stuck in this position, but he's able to squirm his way out perfectly, finding the perfect time to fall back. We see 3 members upstairs now. They know the push is coming from admin, we're seeing the same push coming every time. It's Empire-esque, and you know what's coming, but it's not quite the same quality as Empire, obviously, nor the same sort of consistency that we're seeing.
Yeah, I mean,
but Chaotic going for some late round reinforcements, trying to hold himself in the main lobby, in theatre a little bit better.
if any of these teams were Empire, the match would have ended about an hour ago. The series would have ended an hour ago.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, we may actually see the shield get disposed of this time. There we go. It actually gets disposed of, unlike the last time round, where of course it stayed prominent and well, they ended up winning the round.
User has been dropped.
Hugging this window next to the Dokkaebi. No phone calls coming through yet, but Zoe's going to take a lot of damage from an early fight with Chaotic, and then it's going to be quickly closed out sharply, and USP taking quite a bit from the spray of Obese Rat as well.
There we go, the wall gets
We're
open.
finally getting popped open into theatre, and a lovely swing from Chaotic. Isn't quite able to find the head.
And again, misses his shots twice now, and well, the attacker's converging on his location, and well, he's going to have to play time. He's going to have to try stay alive as long as possible. I do think he is most likely going to die here, but maybe he can find a few picks before he does go out.
Yeah, he's stuck in a
There we
corner,
go.
but he's able to find sharply. That's going to give him a little bit of breathing room. The Jackal on the breach right next to him, but he's going to find the Jackal as well. That's a triple on the round.
You can now
Rory's come up via stacks as well.
And well, there's 20 seconds left, and at this point, it does seem likely that, well, ParkEs Academy may close it out. The grenade misses. 15 seconds, they're going to have to get into sight and go for the plant, but the defenders have fallen back at this point. They're going to try and push in, and there we go, the TG's already coming in.
5 seconds left.
He's able to find one, but he can't quite find the second. The Goyo just prone on the floor next to him is just gonna live. Not even prone, he's injured, but they can't find that last kill. They spent so long pushing onto that top floor that they weren't able to get anything done on site.
They were so close to going to overtime, but that last round, well, Chaotic said no, he brought back the momentum, and there we go. ParkEs move up a little bit, and now they are just one match away from progressing into Advanced League.
Whew.
Ah yes, love blue team, let's go.
Are we live? Cool. So, welcome back after a very short break. So we're just getting this interview set up, but I'd like to welcome Chaotic. Say hello.
Hello.
So, fantastic win. Second 2-0 in a row after beating Valhalla 2 days ago.
Yes.
So, how did the preparation to this game change from the last one? Was there anything special you did, or did you focus on your own game and put your head down?
It was a bit of both, really. We did some research on QT Gang. We did all we could. That's why you saw us ban Nomads, Valk, both maps.
Mm-hmm.
It was their most picked operators. It was more of an impact ban. I feel like they suffered from it. They ended up going for just frags towards the end there, which caught us off. They won a couple rounds in concert at the end. But I feel like we did really well today.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely a performance to be proud of.
Yeah, I mean, a key point I have to point out was the roams with the Mozzie on that top floor all the time, getting all the picks, and you're just insane. I just have to say.
Thank you. Make me
Yeah, I
blush.
mean, the Rome game, especially on Consulate, was fantastic. I mean, you and Shebaru coming into tandem really well.
Mhm.
I mean, what goes behind that? What puts you in that position where you can do such a thing? Is it support?
It just comes down to two people are harder to kill than one. And it's just as long as we're within a room of each other, there's always a chance for a refrag, and just getting that opening pick, it can ruin a whole strat completely. And just having that chaotic energy just definitely helps with them just not knowing how to push you out.
No pun intended.
Oh yeah, no pun intended.
Okay, so let's track back very quickly to Cafe, the first map of the series.
Mhm.
Starting out, what was the plan coming on the defensive side of things? Because you started on your defense, their map pick, you win it quite dominantly as a map. So first of all, winning that map, how does that change a series when you know it's not your map pick?
I suppose winning that first map it's big. Winning the first map gives you that confidence to go on for that second map. It would have been our map pick, Cafe, either way. We were fully prepared for Cafe. And we just came out and we showed them everything we had.
Yeah, I mean that it makes a lot of sense to hear that that's your map pick. You definitely seemed a lot more prepared for it than they were.
Mhm.
Felt like that from our perspective, it seemed like their attacks were slightly disjointed. Is there anything you can share on that from being on the receiving end of it?
I suppose that sometimes there would be several one person pushes which are easy to take off if you got them crossfires, but they played it well. They got some good kills off of us. They won the first round on Cafe. That caught us off.
Mm.
We were very confident in our strat, and it just didn't work out. But that's what happens in Siege.
Well, going back to Cafe,
Mhm.
you were on the defense the first, weren't you?
Yes.
In the first half, yeah. I just have to point out your strategies for the defense really baffled me because, of course, you were bringing that Goyo, but you had no Wamai or Jaeger to protect those shields, which baffled me. But you still managed to pull out the rounds, which again baffled me. It was just
Yeah, the way we set up, we started Goyo deep into piano, and then he had that fallback onto Kaffa when needed, and we'd hoping that they would expend a lot of their utility into doing that. And once you use one on the shield, you sort of get cautious to do another one because you got to think, what if I need it for somewhere else? But I feel like it just worked. It just worked, and QT Gang just came out on the losing end. But they definitely fought hard.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
the gunfights could go either way. I think there
yeah,
was some, trying to put it nicely, some mistakes made when trying to clear out some areas of the map, and I think that really fell into your favor, especially with you and Trevor just going absolutely ham,
yeah,
picking up these kills on the roam, but on both times taking gunfights and doing well. I mean, you saw Prior just like taking gunfights as that Goyo
yeah,
inside of Piano. He was swinging onto mini bar window, taking those gunfights, killing people on both sides of it. Actually, to be fair to him,
yeah. Well, in our research, we noticed that they like to swing. They like that aggressive play. So we just thought, what beats aggression the best? It's aggression. Just trying to outpace them. I think it worked. Obviously, at times we were slowed down, especially on attack, and we probably should have won more rounds. But oh well, it's Siege. We all lose. We learn from it.
last thing to talk about the aggression. A lot of rounds coming down to the last 20, 30 seconds coming down to 4v4s, 5v5s, tons of people still alive. How like what goes into the communication that way? You're trying to like talk about, trying to figure out what they're trying to do in the last seconds, or when you're attacking, what you're trying to do in those last 20 seconds. Like, what's the key thing that you guys are keeping in mind when trying to close out those sorts of rounds?
I suppose it's just keeping the calm. Because a lot of teams, we do this, we're victims of this as well, is you get a bit over exaggerating with your calls, you get a bit like, oh, you repeat your call over and over again. It's just not necessary. You just need to keep that calm, keep that pressure onto them, and they will foil. It's just we needed that. We obviously, when we do our roam clears, we want those early picks just to give us that security, but you can't always get that. So it's just keeping the calm when it comes down to that. It definitely helps.
Anything from you, excellent? Any thoughts or queries to ask?
Not really. I don't get how QT Gang managed to, they did better on your map choice than they did on their own, which really I didn't understand that whatsoever. I'm not gonna lie.
Didn't sit well with you.
We weren't expecting Consulate at all, because it was just left there. We thought, why not? Let's go for it.
So what maps were you? How did you expect the pick and ban to go then? What were you expecting to come out from either side?
We wanted the clubhouse, obviously, so we were going to go for cafe and hope that they would pick clubhouse, and then they banned it straight off the bat. So we thought they're going to go for something unorthodox, try and push like a villa or theme park or coastline, which they didn't. They banned coastline, but we thought Consulate would be our best bet. We're not strong on coastline, so we just felt it was what was needed.
Fair enough, and it worked out well. And another 2-0, and you move on to
Yeah.
the next round.
We're between OS or Shogunate, right?
Yes.
And they play
Yeah,
tomorrow morning, tomorrow early evening.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good luck with that.
Yeah.
Well,
We're on the revenge tour for OS.
Revenge tour. Yeah. Anything you wanna say out to people here? One last word of advice. Thank you. Goodbye. Anything you want to say?
Thank you for coming and watching and supporting us. That's it, really. See you tomorrow.
Short and sweet. Well, enjoy your evening.
See ya.
Enjoy your tomorrow. We'll catch you in the next game.
See ya.